In a small village nestled at the foot of a mountain, there was a forest known as the Forbidden Forest. The villagers avoided entering it, especially at night. They believed that the forest was inhabited by ghostly beings that appeared when the full moon illuminated the dark night. One day, a young man named Raka, who had recently moved to the village, became intrigued by the mysterious tales circulating among the villagers. Raka was an avid nature lover who didn't easily believe in supernatural phenomena. He decided to prove that the stories about the forest were nothing but myths. On a full moon night, Raka packed his camping gear and set off toward the Forbidden Forest. The evening breeze was gentle, carrying the scent of damp leaves and moist earth. As he entered the forest, the initially peaceful atmosphere turned eerie. Moonlight filtered through the trees, casting strange, moving shadows as if they were following Raka's every step. In the heart of the forest, Raka found a spot he thought would be perfect for setting up his tent. However, as he began pitching it, he heard rustling sounds from behind the trees. Raka paused, listening intently, but the sound quickly faded. He dismissed his uneasy feelings and continued with his task. As the night grew deeper, Raka decided to rest inside his tent. Just as he was closing his eyes, he heard a soft yet chilling laugh. The laugh seemed very close, as if it was coming from outside his tent. Raka opened his eyes quickly and cautiously opened the tent flap. There was no one outside, only the darkness enveloping the forest. Raka tried to calm himself and went back to sleep. But this time the sound changed to a whisper, calling his name. Raka. Raka. The whisper was faint but clear. Raka felt his skin crawl. He stepped outside the tent, trying to locate the source of the voice. All he saw were the moving shadows of the trees. Unknowingly, Raka wandered further away from his tent, following the whisper that continued to call his name. The deeper he went, the darker and colder it became. Eventually, he arrived at an ancient, massive tree with protruding roots. Beneath the tree, Raka saw something that made his blood run cold. A woman in a white dress with long, flowing hair, standing with her back to him. Raka's heart raced. He tried not to panic, but his legs felt paralyzed. As the woman slowly turned around, she revealed a pale face with piercing eyes staring directly at Raka. Without saying a word, she extended her hand as if beckoning him closer. Raka wanted to run, but his body felt as if it were held by an invisible force. As the woman moved closer, a distant sound of barking dogs, followed by rapid footsteps, interrupted the silence. The woman stopped and, in an instant, vanished into thin air as if carried away by the night wind. Raka collapsed on the ground, trembling all over. Soon after, a villager arrived with a torch and accompanied by his dog. The villager approached Raka and said, "You're lucky I found you, young man. This forest is no place for humans after dark." With a trembling voice, Raka asked, "Who was that woman? And why was she calling my name?" The villager replied seriously, "She is the guardian spirit of this forest. Legend has it that she is the spirit of a woman who died in this forest centuries ago. She will call out to anyone who dares to enter her domain at night. You were lucky to escape this time." Raka, now fully convinced of the stories he had heard, followed the villager out of the forest. As they reached the forest's edge, Raka glanced back one last time. In the distance, under the ancient tree, he could still see the shadowy figure of the woman, watching him with a cold, unblinking gaze. Since that night, Raka never ventured near the Forbidden Forest again. He learned that there are some things in this world that are best left undisturbed, and the Forbidden Forest was one of them.